The following live stream has been approved for appropriate audiences by the host. However, the topic may be a bit intense for younger or more sensitive audiences. Viewer discretion is advised.
I do a drinking stream on the webs, though I'm not a real political man. I avoid CNN, but I know I can tell you the difference between Gaza and Iran. I do know Jesus, don't talk much to God, but I remember this from when I was young. Faith, hope, and love are some good things he gave us, and the greatest among them is love. Where were you when the world stopped turning that September day? We'll tell you where we were, share a few other people's stories. Feel free to share yours in the chat. Salud. Welcome. I am going to try not to be too dour and somber tonight. I am going to have myself a good stiff drink, and I don't think it would be inappropriate if I stayed on brand and just expressed what it is that I'm going to be sipping on tonight.
Release the Kraken.
Release the Kraken! The Kraken!
Why is the rum always gone?
It's gone because it's been a brutal week, and when the booze goes in, the sadness has to go somewhere else. Welcome, all my dear friends. I am so glad to see you here tonight. Yes, it is the week of September 11th, so we're going to talk about that very fateful day. But I would be remiss if I did not acknowledge that today also happens to be a day, Friday the 13th. I know that Deleted Scenes and Big Al Presents had a wonderful watch party of Friday the 13th, part 2. Just thought I'd bring out my custom covered collection. This one in particular is Friday the 13th, the first part all the way through Jason 10. And then over here, I haven't done up a cover yet, working on that yet. This would be actually, I'm sorry, that's up through 9. This has got 10, Freddy versus Jason, and got some room in here for a couple others. At the very back, I've got the Friday the 13th, the Killer Cut. I think that's the remakey one, which I haven't even seen yet, but I do have it on DVD, so I thought I'd share that with you. And tonight we're going to be talking about that night, sharing our stories. They say everybody remembers where they were on September 11th. We're going to share our stories. Welcome to the first person that I saw on here, which is, of course, FKHC 2005, known to many as Tim. Salute. He said that Kyle MacLachlan was on this week's Futurama, and they made a Twin Peaks joke about coffee. To which I responded, seems that Kyle MacLachlan remembers his Twin Peaks role better than a certain waitress. I think we've told that story about making a coffee joke that, she didn't get that at all.
She was the waitress.
Yeah, I know. If you have to explain the joke, it's not going to work. Timing is everything. Salud, Lady Miss, dropping the flowers, encouraging us all so much. I super appreciate you, my dear. And of course, howdy from John, JPR PH1. Welcome, my friend. Let's see. We're getting a hail from Curtis Selby. Welcome, my friend. Channel member, good friend of the channel. Speak of the devil, see his horns. Hello, my friends. God bless America, and God bless you, Big Al. And the other one that I was talking about, Salute, deleted scenes. Welcome. David Pensek. Good evening. Good evening to you as well. Kapla, Admiral. I hope you're feeling well tonight. Good evening, she says. Let's see here. Of course, the bird woman of YouTube, Connie Cleary. Salute. And of course, this beautiful woman, Netter of Netters Network. Welcome, my dear. I love you too. And what are you sipping on?
I'm actually doing really well. I'm sipping on a Diet Dr. Pepper because it's just been a week. And what's interesting, well, today is 9/13. Mm-hmm. My daughter's birthday is 9/12. Of course, all this happened on 9/11. And for years, she afterwards, she was like, no one remembers my birthday because every year people just remember 9/11 and they totally forget about me. She was so bummed. I mean, at that time, I kind of understand it. She was kind of an angsty teenager, but it's like, yeah, her birthday came right after. And she's like, no one's ever going to remember my birthday again.
Well, there you go. Nate, welcome. Geek Flag with Nate Knows, 1973. Bonjour. Welcome.
Bonjour, comment ça va?
At home, not understanding why we were calling it 9/11, September 11th. But it had the double meaning of the fact that 9/11 is the three-digit emergency code that
in the
United States you dial on your.
Because I think in the UK it's 999.
999 in the UK, exactly. So it just so happened 9/11, and that's how everyone remembered it. It's these mnemonics that that stick in your mind. Did I say something about intensity? Well, yeah, usually. Hail to you as well, Tim Hayes. I was home just getting out of bed. Yeah, a lot of people were. It was fairly early in the morning. Let's see here. Oh, you guys are making the rounds. Because I'm like, wait a minute. Now JPRPH1 is green. Oh, yes, that's because he's a channel member on my channel. There we go. And the Clue channel. Salute. Welcome, my friend. Good to see you. And Daniel Barry Sports Highlights. Happy Friday to you, my friend.
I just subbed to your channel. And if you wouldn't mind subbing to the panel,
you should have
amazing and awesome.
Subscribed to him yesterday. He was on your stream last night.
I was a little busy yesterday.
Yes, you were. You were interviewing. That's absolutely true.
So I subbed today.
Fair enough. That's fair enough. And in case I didn't say it before, by all means, please let me know what you all are sipping on as per usual. There he is, Jesse Green, 619. Hello, my friend. Welcome. Oh, look at this. Look at this. For your tribute at the beginning. Oh, that is very, very sweet of you, Aged Boomer. I super appreciate it. Let me get your ass in here and say, salute, my friend. How are you tonight, and what are you sipping on?
I'm doing okay. I got myself a Coca-Cola, and I really liked your tribute at the beginning. I hate to say this. I mean, maybe the media was doing something, but I felt like the media was quiet on it this year about not even talking about September 11th. I mean, did you hear?
I think there's a reason for that, and we'll get into it a little bit tonight.
I mean, because I feel I don't want to. I'm not going to chide my fellow Americans because I'm sure they remember, but it feels like some of us maybe don't know because they weren't around at the time, or some have forgotten.
That is true. It's been 23 years. We've had a whole generation born after those events, or were so young they don't remember.
Yeah.
So there is that element of it. Of course, say hello to Sir Torrin Clegane. Welcome, my friend. Troy, I found out today that the Star Wars radio play, the role of Yoda, was voiced by John Lithgow. Yes, he was. That is true. He's actually a phenomenal voice actor. I wish he did more in that regard. Let's see. And we will be, of course, acknowledging several voice actors that we've lost this week. And, obviously, most especially James Earl Jones. So yeah, that's what I mean. It's been a week. I'm not even talking about work tonight. In France, the emergency number is 112. Interesting. I did not know that. Yeah, I guess I don't watch any French television. I watch more British television. Jesse was home asleep. Woke up, still had to go to work that day. Yeah. Oh, and thank you. The Clue Channel has been a member for 1 month. He says it was a Tuesday, and I was at the CAU band getting ready for a concert. I arrived at the band hall, and everyone was glued to the TV set. Someone said New York had been bombed. Okay, yeah. I mean, I suppose from a certain point of view, that's true. 7-Up, the Uncola. No caffeine. Never had it, never will. James Earl Jones. There you go. I had to explain what 9/11 was to a few younger coworkers. Yeah, exactly. I remember tuning in to watch Regis and Kelly. Was it already Regis and Kelly by that point? Yeah, I guess it would have been. Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And seeing the second plane hit live, then had to go to work. One of our part-timers worked at the Pentagon, and we were worried about him. Yeah. I totally understand. Oh, thank you, Curtis. That is so sweet of you. I was off that day. I had worked 11 days straight and was exhausted. Oh, thanks for that tribute. Absolutely. And Samuel Proctor, salute, my friends. Just came from the Reagan movie. It was very good. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've heard good things. I definitely want to see it. I really did like Reagan. I see him as the second populist in my lifetime. The first would have been, of course, Nixon. And I think both of them, because of it, ran afoul of some black-hatted agents within the government.
I don't remember Nixon as president. Just so I'm a little younger than you are. No.
I was too young to understand, but that was within
I remember Reagan as president, though. If anyone just felt like this is what a president of the United States looks like, it was Ronald Reagan. When you looked at that screen when you're as a child, I just saw him as
they referred to Reagan as the great communicator, right? Mm-hmm. Which my grandmother said that makes perfect sense because he was an actor. You know, she said, you notice he never reads off a teleprompter. If he's got a prepared speech, he's memorized it because that's what actors do. She says, what better politician than someone who's memorized his lines, right? Unless you are really, really good at speaking off the cuff. And we have had some politicians, particularly in recent years, that I would say are very good at speaking off the cuff. I was too young to experience Reagan. I was in kindergarten. Well, you know, from what I've heard, I can't give a personal recommendation because I haven't seen it yet, but from what I've heard, this Reagan movie is probably a good place to kind of get the idea and the feel. I always liked Reagan. Yeah. He, I loved, and this is being repeated more and more lately because we're seeing so many other people feeling the way he did. He said, I didn't leave the Democratic Party. The Democratic Party left me. Keep in mind, Reagan was governor of California as a Democrat. And then he switched parties to run Republican. And, you know, I doubt he was the first, but he's the first in my memory. And there have been a lot more recently that have done that. Just kind of pointing that out. I was at work, standing in the front door of the liquor I managed, looking into the laundromat next door, wondering what movie, what their TV was seeing. The second plane hit the tower. Yeah. So yeah, let's. Oh, you know what? I'm sorry. I didn't realize how far I'd fallen behind on the chat. Let me real quick get to these comments. I was an infant when 9/11 happened. Apparently, my mom and dad were in front of the TV with me and saw it, but I have no memory. Yeah, no, I understand that. Evelyn Hampton, I was home recuperating from surgery when news came on the TV about WTC, the World Trade Center. I screamed when the second plane hit the second tower. My son and I held on to each other and cried. Yeah. Mm. You know, a lot of people that are old enough to remember both of these events. For example, my mother said it was very similar to when Kennedy was assassinated. It was one of those shocking, horrific things that you see happening on your television in real time. You know what I mean? Yep. Tulsi. I was also thinking RFK Jr. and certainly the Don. See, people forget, you know, when that dumbass Ginger was holding the fake head, you know, and going on and on. Yeah. Someone should have shared the pictures of her giving the Don a hug and posing for pictures with him because they used to be friends, and say, hey, yep. Was this you? You remember this? Huh? Just saying. You know, what's her name? Wackadoo from Chicago that used to have a talk show.
Oprah.
Yeah, Oprah. Oprah was another one, you know. Used to hang out with all the Democrats. They kind of forgotten that. They don't want you to remember. I was sick that day and missed the initial attack. Woke up in time to see the second tower fall. Called my dad at work to find out what was happening. He said, we're at war. That's what we all said. That's what we all said.
Yes,
it's kind of true.
A new kind of enemy, though.
Yeah.
If I recall, you and I were at work.
Yep.
And one of my coworkers had a radio by their desk, and we were trying to. But I remember seeing one of the planes crash, the second plane crash.
Well, they were doing 24-hour footage when we got home. We may or may not have seen it live.
I'm thinking that the radio, actually it wasn't a radio, it was a small TV that one of my coworkers had. So I was able to see live the second plane hitting the second tower. And we're like, what the heck is going on?
Yeah, I didn't. I was getting updates from my friends. Real quick, I want to say hi to Mark Malnikoff. He says, Kapla, checking in from the depths of the dilithium mines on Rurapente. As long as you're here, I know you don't have a lot of time. I did want to share, and I will get to the stories from our panel and to all the rest of your comments in just a moment. But Mark Melnikoff, who's a wonderful contributor to the channel. He contributes a lot of the articles that we read now on Geeky Geezers. But in fact, he's sent a couple that we'll be talking about this Sunday. But he forwarded me his 9/11 story, and he told me that he was okay with me sharing it. So I wanted to do it now while he's on, before he's got to go back to work. September 11th started off as any other day. Strangely, I had watched Tora the night before and wondered how the U.S. got caught with its pants down. I began getting ready for a company picnic up in Rondout, Illinois. And since it was near a major rail junction, many of you regulars might know Mark is a huge train enthusiast. I left early to watch the trains. I heard about a plane hitting the first tower that morning on the radio as I left. I kept thinking, this doesn't feel right. It's an attack. As I got to the Edens Expressway, I was startled by a squadron of very low-flying fighter jets flying over the highway. Looking up, I noticed they were fully armed with missiles. I kept hearing about the Trade Center. Stopping at Rondout, I left the radio on and watched a local Elgin, Joliet, and Eastern train working the junction using the crew. Usually the crews wave. Today they just stared in my direction. Then I heard on the radio about the second plane hitting the Trade Center, confirming what I had thought, we were being attacked. I headed over to the company picnic where senior management told us the event was canceled and to get back to our stores ASAP. He works in retail. So I rushed home. When I got back to my apartment, I grabbed my scanner and set it to the Chicago police citywide frequency, grabbed a flashlight, and left on foot for my store. My apartment was located between a Muslim community center and a synagogue. The Chicago Police Department and National Guard were setting up barriers around both and were fully armed with all sorts of weapons. The Loop was shut down. That's the Loop of Chicago, downtown. The streets were full of people. I kept my radio closed and listened for any reports in case anything occurred close by. I got to my store, which was in total disarray. People were panic buying everything they could. I managed to get my crew together. The company shut down the stores at 4 or 5 and sent us home. Good thing, because the shelves were stripped bare anyway. I later heard about the Pentagon being hit. Now, I'm not censoring what he said, but I'm skipping over a sentence for now that I'll come back to. That was day one. About 2 days later, I got a call from a Buddhist organization I practice with and found out that a good friend who was a youth division leader and mentor to me was killed on the first plane. David, I believe this is pronounced Ioma, David Ioma, taught me about many things when he worked in Chicago, in particular leadership. The one piece of guidance that I have never forgotten is something he said when I first became responsible for a group of young people. You can just walk in, you can't just walk in and say, I'm your new leader. You first have to earn everyone's respect and trust. And a leader isn't a boss. You're there to support and help them grow and attain their goals. It wasn't until I heard about his death that I really felt any emotion at all. This hit me very hard. I later found out that every one of my coworkers lost someone as well. I wrote to David's wife and family to express my condolences. To my surprise, I got a call from a senior leader helping the family, and he expressed his thanks. Then things got harder. I was invited to attend David's memorial and say a few things about him and our relationship. Getting up in a large auditorium in front of over 1,000 people while containing one's emotions was one of the hardest things I've ever done. I was filled with sadness, anger, and rage at the time. For about a year after, I would have recurring nightmares about running through the city while planes crashed into buildings. They say you remember every detail and where you were during events like this. It's true. Every 9/11, I pause to pray and remember my friend and what happened to our nation. I think a lot of people said, we'll never forget this. This is a great moment of unity, and truly, it did pull the country together. I think a lot of people have forgotten, and I think there's a lot of people that are actively trying to cause people to forget. They absolutely are. So something else that Mark shared was you will find pinned to the top of both of my streams, and guys, you can do the same if you'd like. It's a link to another YouTube channel, a channel I don't know. I don't know anything about the channel, but the video is good. It's really just footage from Fox News talking about the hate on 9/11, footage of Palestinians celebrating the attacks, aired on CNN, MSNBC, and Fox News. Okay, I'm sorry. It was the 3 cable networks, not just Fox News.
Yeah, in other parts of the world, yeah.
Yeah, it's pinned to the top of my chat as well.
And guys, watch that when you get a chance. It's only 2 minutes. It's actually less than 2 minutes. But it's good to remember. They specifically say these were Palestinians living in the West Bank that were celebrating. These same Palestinians that people are flying flags for in our country today. I want you to keep that in mind and be very, very aware of that. When we said we were at war, as Boomer pointed out, it was a very different kind of war. But yeah, they kind of declared war on us. And I think this is one time when the United States should have said, okay, fuck it, we're out. And just pulled out of the friggin' Middle East. This interventionism
Right.
is stupid.
Why
are we always in the places that people don't want us? I'll go even further. Our interventionism directly leads to the wars that we're dealing with now.
So let's see. We got involved in Afghanistan because that's where I guess that was the origin point, because he was working under Al Qaeda. Was that what it was, or Al Qaeda was protecting him at least at that point? Of course, we found out where he was being held.
It was Al Qaeda at the time. Yeah, absolutely.
And then there was the Iraq thing, and that was a whole other can of worms.
And we could argue the shades of gray about that, how closely these things were related, if they were at all. What?
One of the comments, Clue Channel says Seth MacFarlane was supposed to be on one of the planes, but he and his driver were stuck in traffic and missed the flight.
Yep. Got a lot of stories like that. He also claims that that's the event that led him to be an atheist.
James Woods was on a plane with some of where there was some of the hijackers, and not on the plane that of course flew, but he was on, and he had, I think, made a report saying that these guys look shifty, and I think he was trying to get in contact with the government. Like, this was like a week or two before the event happened, and then they later questioned him later on, because it turns out no, the people he saw were the people they think they were doing like dry runs or something, like they were like
almost certainly. I'll come back to those points. I did want to get back to the comments that I'm seeing in the chat. I'm a little bit behind. I don't want you guys to feel like I'm overlooking you guys.
Yeah, it's like I'm actually thinking that I'm remembering slightly wrong. I think we actually saw the attack at home, had to go to work, and was listening to follow-ups from people's radios while at work. Because I remember listening through the day going, what's going on? Do we need to evacuate our office? I called my kids' school and said, are you saying the kids home because of this? And they're like, we're a one-story building in the middle of Chicago.
Yep.
I seriously doubt any terrorist is interested in us. The kids don't know anything about this because in the school they're isolated. So we're not going to stir up trouble where we don't need to stir up trouble.
Absolutely.
And panic people.
Evelyn said on 9/11, I worked for the federal government in a Chicago high-rise building that was identified as a possible target. I was terrified for my coworkers, including one who's blind. See, now that one makes sense, because you're right. In the aftermath, we've heard that some of the Chicago high rises were potential targets.
Yeah.
Go ahead. No,
I was just having the Sears Tower and John Hancock and those ones.
And I want to thank, of course, Scott Westbrook. I don't think I said hi to you earlier. Sorry, man. I am really, really behind. And he sends a super sticker of a little bean exercising, saying, keep it up. I will. I absolutely will. Thank you so much, Scott. I really, really do appreciate that. Very, very encouraging to me.
And what were you going to say, Boomer?
Mentioning the blind person, it reminds me of a story I heard about I think a man who was in a wheelchair in the towers, and he was stuck there. And I think he was Jewish, and his friend was a Christian. But he told his friend, get out of here. They were good friends, even though they were kind of opposite in many ways. And when the attacks him, he told his friend who was in the wheelchair, get out of here, save yourself. And he says, I'm not leaving you. And they stayed, and they both died, obviously when the towers fell. But I want to say, I believe his man, hold on, I want to make sure I get his name right. Was it Abraham Zemanowitz? I think it was. He was a computer programmer. I think that was who it was. Yeah, and his friend. Yeah, because he was the man that stayed with his friend, and according to BU, who was one of Zamek's friends and a quadriplegic, could not evacuate the building on his own. So Zamowitz phoned her at 9:30 a.m. and told her over the phone that he would remain with BU until a rescue team arrived to help carry BU from the building. Both men were killed when the tower collapsed.
Yeah.
So I should have been better prepared for that. But yeah, the running after says the Mutz's remains were positively identified among the debris, and he was brought to the Mount Olive Jewish Cemetery in Jerusalem, where he was interred beside his parents.
Clue Channel says the fellow students who had family in NYC were openly panicking because cell phone service was deactivated and they couldn't call home. Keep in mind, when a big part of why the World Trade Center, well, no, it didn't, because it did predate the cell idea, but those antennas on the top were intended for communication. They were first intended for television, and then for cell towers. So when those buildings were hit, a lot of people lost cell connection. This isn't a big surprise, but it's terrifying. It's terrifying when you're trying to find out. There were people literally trapped on the island of Manhattan, because the only way on and off is by bridge, and the bridges were all clogged.
There were people stuck in trains underground because, all electric and all that stuff just went.
Good point.
So they were trapped, for almost like a full day, I think, underneath, until they were able to get them out.
Well, traffic was a dead standstill, and people just left their cars, which of course keeps it congested. But what are you going to do? You can't stay there,
I had been interning in New York City a year prior, so it's weird. I saw what New York was like a year prior before that happened. I used to go there for my internship like 3 days a week, and I would take the train in. Yeah.
Welcome, Logical Spark. He says, I was at home still at my dad's. I just graduated high school that May before 9/11. Looked out my bedroom window at the sky and just meditated. Yeah, I totally understand that. Sir Torrance says, I was in my second period English class on my second day of high school. Someone came into the room and said that someone had flown a plane into the World Trade Center, and it wasn't an accident. We turned on the TV and saw that the Pentagon had been hit. This is Nate, my oldest brother, who's in the Navy, was at the Pentagon on 9/11 and was driving through the gate to pick up his former CO. Right when the plane hit the Pentagon, he turned around and rushed back. That's where it ends. I don't know if you picked that up again, that narrative. Nate says, and that's the story about Seth MacFarlane. That's right. Scott says, I was on my day off, but my sergeant called soon thereafter. I worked most of the next week. Yeah, no, I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised. Everyone got activated. Everyone in the military that I knew, everyone on reserve.
And we had friends that from our church, different branches of our church, that were like, yeah, I was in that building that morning. Then I decided to go out, across the street to get some breakfast. And while they're out getting breakfast, the towers were hit. And they're like, my desk would have been right there.
Yep. We were in places that people don't want us. Money and political power. Yeah, no, it's absolutely true. I am mostly a non-interventionist, but I'm the type that, kind of like that. What is that Robot Chicken sketch, Little Hitler? Where you got the kids representing all the countries during World War II, and you have the little Japanese boy and little Adolf, taking everybody else's lunch, and the American kid's wearing a bomber jacket and dark glasses, goes, this isn't my problem. And all of a sudden, little Japanese boy comes over, knocks his lunch off of his desk, and he goes, and now it's my problem. That's the way it should be. It's not our problem until it's our problem. And then we go in, we F everybody up, and we go home. That's the way it's supposed to be. Leave us alone. Poke the bear, you get the claws. My friend who served in Afghanistan said if we don't stop them, they will come here 23 years later. See, that's just it. We didn't stop them there, and we literally fucking invited them in here. We opened up our borders. We gave them stimmy checks. And some places are letting the fuckers vote.
It's insane. You're usually on later than I'm awake, but I do watch when I call Mr. Pacelli, when I can, Mr. Pacelli.
I certainly understand. You can always catch the watches literally whenever you wake up the next day or whatever. Leave a comment. Let me know you were there. It encourages me. Primeco and Sprint phones were the top ones. I don't know too much about the different companies. Certain companies definitely had primary tower, broadcast from the World Trade Center. And Singular. God, see, these companies, do these even exist? Well, Sprint does. Do Primeco and Singular still exist? I don't even know.
Remember when we used to have a Primeco phone?
We did have a Primeco phone.
And
that's right.
Because it was such a cheap,
pardon
my language, but a cheap ass phone. Yeah. It's like you were squeezing the thing to make the battery connect so you can make a call. And then we finally went into the store and said, look, you give us a phone that works because this is not working. And I shouldn't have to squeeze the phone to make a connection so I can make a call. By the way, your mascot that's out front, he just took off his head and scared a bunch of kids.
Yeah. Yeah, take off his head to have a cigarette.
Yeah, he was out there smoking with his head next to him on the ground. They're like, he's doing what?
Yeah.
And half the store went running out of the employees to go yell at the guy and tell him he can't do that. I think he was fired on the spot.
According to Sir Torrin Clegane's father, who was in the Navy at the time, was supposed to be at the Pentagon, but decided to sleep in. At least that's what he told me. I don't always believe him. Well, it depends on what his position was and if he could get away with that. Connie, welcome, by the way, Connie. I was asleep when the attacks happened, was working at a bar then. Gotcha. So in other words, you'd gotten home late. You were sleeping late. Yeah.
I was sleeping in too that day when my sister told me the towers had been attacked, and then another one flew in, and it was horrifying to watch what happened that day.
This is true. I've heard this story. Actor Steve Buscemi was a volunteer firefighter and was there at Ground Zero. He was doing all the rescue work and cleanup completely on a voluntary basis. Yeah. My connection to Steve Buscemi is a cousin of his. Used to attend our church. I was good friends with him.
Oh.
They didn't look anything alike, other than they both had that, somewhat pale Italian look.
Right.
AT&T bought Singular. Okay, well, that makes sense. Yeah, that's usually what happens. It's not that they went out of business. They got accumulated by the bigger companies. I called the family to see how her son and daughter-in-law are doing. Both of them worked for a pharmaceutical and traveled the world. Yeah. Interventionism has been a threat in our country since the beginning. French revolutionaries were riling up American crowds to help them go to another war against England with them. Yeah. And we keep taking the bait, right? We keep taking the bait. It's like the big guy on the playground, right? And the littler guy comes up to him, hey Jimmy, guess what? What Bobby said about you. He said you're a pansy. He said you're a pansy. Go take care of him.
But on 9/11, we weren't there yet as far as the war on terror went. I think we were still trying to claim our faculties. I want to say, go ahead.
If you apply the rules for determining if something is a false flag, kind of meets all of them, right? It happened despite, a lot of people trying to blow the whistle. We got
there was a gentleman in the Pentagon who had constantly been warning about bin Laden's plans that everyone kept ignoring. Plus, there was, of course, the original warning of when the towers were attacked originally, which was not in 2001.
These guys. Turns out the NSA knew all about them, right?
There was another, but we had a prior attack.
Yep. Oh, that's right. We had a previous attack. We knew who these guys were, and they just watched it happen. Same thing you find out about all these shootings in schools. The FBI was warned. They knew about this kid. No. They'd gone out to his house. They'd investigated. Why didn't they do anything? Because you think that their job is to prevent these things from happening. They're not. They're trying to clear the road so that these things do happen. That's your mistake.
Or there was incompetence.
You go for the what Hanlon's razor. I'm too jaded for that. I will not chalk up to incompetence. That, or what is it? They say never assume ill intent that which can be explained away by incompetence. I'm sorry, they're not mutually exclusive. Could be both. Just saying. She said, turn on the... Oh, I'm sorry. You had said something previously. Was talking to a friend in New Zealand. She said, turn on the news. They're showing the first plane hit the first tower. The news split the screen and the second plane came into view, crashing the second tower. Yeah. It was, what year was it? It was 92, wasn't it?
No, 93.
93.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
You know how I remember it happened around the same time the pilot for Babylon 5 premiered.
The problem with me is that I have no temporal depth perception. So let me tell my story real quick.
We were married in 92, dear.
That doesn't mean that I associate our marriage with 9/11. That would be a horrible association to make. Incompetence only counts for so much. After a while, it begins to look like a pattern. Yeah, exactly. So Netter kind of touched on our story a little bit. Netter and I were working for the same company. You're in trouble, Troy.
I hope.
Yeah.
Not.
No, what I'm saying is that it was after we had been married, not the same year we were married. Because Stephanie was in high school at the time.
Well, she was in high school for 4 years.
She was a junior, if I recall.
Don't make me do the maths, but yes, it was, of course, after we were married, because it had to be more than a year later, because I used to work downtown when we first got married, and you and I were both working at a different company. We were working for a publishing company on the far north side of the city.
Yep.
Far north and a little bit west as you could go.
It's not there anymore.
Yeah, right. They close. They're
bulldozed the thing and turned it into, what do they call it? Something park, a business park.
Is it? Did they move everything to the Northbrook facility?
guessing, because I think it's just a huge parking lot with a lot of bushes.
Yeah, I'm not going to say the name of the company, but based on what I've said, if anyone's interested, they could probably figure it out. So we were working for a publishing company that did business with a lot of law firms and accounting firms all over the country. And I didn't have clients. I wasn't in the sales department, but one of the customers I interacted with the most, to the point that she called me more often than her sales rep. She worked in World Trade Center, and I can't remember if it was 1 or 2. And I remember in the days thereafter, I reached out to her sales rep at our company, and I'm like, look, this may be not very professional, but I did have a good working relationship with your client, and I just wanted to know if you've heard anything, and if you could let me know if you do hear anything. And she's like, yeah, sure, no problem at all. And it was about a month later, I got a call from her, not from the sales rep, but from the client, who said, yeah, the sales rep got in touch with me, told me to give you a call. I wasn't at work that day. I had a half day in the morning, because I don't remember what she said she had going on in the morning. And she was on her way into the office when it got hit. So I couldn't even get close to the building. She said, and she said our offices obviously were destroyed. She says, we've been moved to another facility. She said, I'll be staying with the company and trying to, get operations moved and stuff like that. I'm like, well, that's wonderful, but so I can honestly say that the one person that I did know personally that worked in the building, was okay. Just shook that she lost a lot of coworkers. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and a lot of people were saying, like I said, people that had gone to our church and all that it's like, yeah, it's like I woke up late, so I missed, my bus, which would have got me to work on time, and I ended up being over an hour late, and I just missed it. Or, I ended up getting the flu, so I didn't even go in. Or, my train was late, so I didn't make it there in time, and otherwise I would have been in the building. And all these different stories had come in. It's like, yeah, that was God watching over them.
Scott says he was married in 92 as well. Congratulations, salute. And Nate says, Troy, the words that have given me a happy long marriage. Yes, dear. Yeah, depends. Because there are times I'll say yes, dear, and she'll slap me and go, don't patronize me. But okay, yeah, I'm caught up now. So yeah, and as Netta was pointing out, I had some of my coworkers saying, you think they're gonna send us home? You think we're safe here? And I'm like, if we worked downtown, we worked in Sears Tower, John Hancock, I'd be worried, and we'd probably be going home. We live so far outside the city in a 2-story building that nobody gives a crap about. It's a publishing company. We publish tax law. Nobody cares about us. We are perfectly safe unless they set off a nuke in the middle of the city. And that's not going to be happening. Otherwise, they wouldn't have bothered with this little, flying.
Well, my concern was, okay, they just bombed these or ran these planes into these 2 buildings. Are they going to start dropping bombs in like the city, like just doing like you see in movies where they just do this run of planes dropping bombs and just blowing up everything in sight?
I knew right off though that this was a terrorist act. This wasn't a conventional attack, and that's why I knew there. And I a lot of my coworkers like, well, what if they have like a dirty bomb, or what if they have they smuggled a bomb in? And I'm like, if that was the case, there would have been a mushroom cloud in the middle of the city. We'd all have 20th degree burns, and it would all be over already. They wouldn't have bothered with this whole plane thing. that was the attack, you know. But let no crisis go to waste. They instituted, you know, the
Department of Homeland Security.
Department of Homeland Security,
later, yes.
Which is essentially, if you think about it, American Stasi, right? That's what any federal police force is. It's an American version of the Stasi, right? And the Patriot Act. Keep in mind, when they name this shit, it always means the opposite. They call it the Patriot Act. It's the Anti-Freedom Act, is what it is. It is the Trample All Over Your Rights Act, is what it is. It is as anti-patriotic as could possibly be. And people are all ready to give up all their freedoms for a little bit of security. But you get neither. I'm not even quoting Franklin here. It's not that if you take a little bit of if you give up your freedoms for a little bit of security, you deserve neither. You end up with neither.
You don't think the homeland is currently secure?
Exactly my point.
Mayorkas.
Exactly my point. Exactly my point. The words that have given me. Oh yeah, I had already read that. One of my regular customers, two brothers and a father, were firefighters in New York and lost them all. Yeah. You saw the thumbnail. That picture was, you know, we saw that as the echo of Iwo Jima, you know, and no president since has been willing to oppose it. Yeah, well, that could change this time around. The coalition that's forming around Trump is looking to roll back a lot of the deep state, and but you can't just go vote Trump. You can't just go vote Trump, right? You also have to make sure that over the next 4 to 6 years, you are voting in all the primaries too, and getting rid of the rhinos and making sure you get real populist GOP, or even, you know, if you happen to always vote Democrat, by all means, feel free to vote in a primary. Oh, wait a minute. You didn't get to do that for this president, did you? Never mind.
I have no idea what the local primaries are like for the Democratic Party. Maybe they're fairer. I don't know, because I've never been registered as a...
I don't know. Ask Bernie how fair the Democratic...
Well, the presidential ones, that's a different story, yeah. But that's the rules of the party. But I'm wondering how it works on the state level when you're voting for...
Well, it depends. If you're in Chicago, Illinois, you know, there is no voting. There is no voting. We joke about the dead voting in Chicago. Nah, the votes don't matter. It's like whose line is it anyway? The votes don't matter. They just appoint whomever the machine decides is the next one, and they're trying to roll that up to the federal level.
Anyway, getting back to that first week, though, do you remember the world's reaction to 9/11? We were well liked in the United States. People were sympathetic with us for once instead of yelling at the United States. No, the world was sympathetic. Not all countries,
except for the Palestinians.
Well,
who
I'm talking
were
about
cheering
the big
and
countries like the UK. I think at Buckingham Palace they flew the American flag.
It is true that the other Arab countries, right? The Saudi Arabia, you know, Jordan and whatnot, they were pretty silent. You know, which does bring up the other point. You know, you keep hear the rhetorical talking points, right? About being imprisoned in Gaza. You know, it's like a prison state. Really? They're keeping you there? You know, it's not like you're surrounded by Israel there. You know, why can't you go to Jordan? Why can't you go to Iran? Why can't you go to Saudi Arabia? Oh, wait, they don't want you either. Aha. See, because the racist among you just assume, oh, everybody who's Muslim in a Muslim country, they all think and acted. Oh, no.
Well, no.
No, not any more than all Christians have the same faith and beliefs.
There are different branches of Islam.
and they are all at
yeah,
war with
yeah.
each other.
Sometimes, yes.
And the most radical elements all end up where? The only place that someone will take them? Gaza. Shocking. The ones that they say are their biggest enemies trying to genocide them are the only ones that give them a home and allow them to live there. And still trying to two-state anybody? Oh, no, you don't want that? Well, okay. Just saying.
As I say, it's a scary...
You cannot divorce the events of 9/11 from what's going on today. This is a continuous history.
What I was going to say, it's a scary world we're living in today because I feel in many respects we've forgotten how vulnerable we really are in this country, especially
because you've got enough morons that are starting to take the other side now. Seriously. I mean, when you see stupid kids, American kids, taking the side of Palestine, stupid Jewish kids at universities taking the side of Palestine.
Some of them are worried about getting attacked too. Remember that.
Then they didn't learn their lesson from World War II.
No, I meant they were being chased into the library. Remember that at the university? If the door hadn't been barred, they would have been broken in. Anyway.
Yep. Well, I'm telling you, the smart ones are turning around and suing the universities.
Yes.
They absolutely should be. They have a perfect case. British friends contacted me after 9/11 asking how they could help. They sent money to the Red Cross, designated for 9/11 relief in the U.S. Yeah. I remember giving, because this was before I was diagnosed as factor V Leiden deficient. So I gave blood every chance that I got.
Yeah, everyone was trying.
I actually had Netter and I. Well, Netter couldn't give because she was underweight. I was able to give until the last couple times they were having trouble getting a full vial out of me, and it was within a year of that I found out that I had a clotting issue, right. And since I had to go on blood thinners, I can't give blood anymore. I realize, and that's too bad because I'm O positive. I'm not the universal, blood type.
Negative. That's me.
You're universal. I'm as close as you could get, but
what's
not
universal?
Quite. Oh, negative.
Negative.
Okay. I'm A positive.
Yes, you can only give to A positive. You are the opposite of O negative. Only A positive can only give to A positive.
I'm special.
Yes, you are. But I could give you blood, and Boomer could give you blood. You'd be fine.
Then we'd be related.
Yeah, I suppose we'd be
if I've got
blood siblings, right?
Parts of your
yes,
yeah.
there's that.
Blood and blood.
Yeah,
makes us
we've had fluid.
I guess so. Yes, I guess so. Anyway.
Yeah, I'm thinking. I realize, like blood relatives.
Yes.
Well, that's the thing. It's like we're a whole human family. We just
we're related by blood.
You know?
I'm not trying to make something nasty.
No, I don't. I didn't say you were.
No, I'm looking at Troy's face.
But it's funny.
Okay.
I realized
turned into something
that
dirty.
my comment about my brother wasn't clear. He was leaving the Pentagon to pick up a former SEAL when playing. Oh yeah, I did get the impression it was the other way around. Yeah. He turned around and went back to the building. I get it. Yeah.
We need to talk about the brave men and women of Flight 93 who probably took down that plane and made the ultimate sacrifice.
The reason that we know about that is because so many people. This was back with. I mean, this was the early days of telephone, but we had that ability to send text messages and get messages out and stuff. And people got messages out saying, "I'm probably not coming home. Just want you to know I love you." And they did what heroic people do, right? They say that a brave man is no braver than anyone else. He's just brave 15 minutes longer. That's exactly what this was people being brave. And I do think that stories like that get out and people realize, yeah, you may have the U.S. Marshals on the planes these days, but I think there's plenty of people that are prepared to deal with situations.
I think people now see this now. Though I do think some of the security was overkill at the airports, but well.
I mean, fuck, because of the Unabomber, we still got to take off our fucking shoes. That is the stupidest damn thing in the world, right? The guy sticks plastic explosives in his shoe, sets himself on fire, does no damage to anybody else, and now we all have to take off our fucking shoes when we go through the security at the planes.
What's even more ludicrous is I got to take off if I'm wearing flip-flops, which are thin as crap. I have to take those off because they're shoes. It's like, you realize I'm pretty much wearing cardboard.
Yes, Curtis makes an excellent point. The U.S. Marshals are basically spying on Tulsi Gabbard.
She's a veteran. She's a hero as far as
and the people getting patted down are, old women and children. I mean, it's like,
Oh yeah, there was an older woman. I want to say she was like in her 90s or something, in a wheelchair, and they were patting her down very aggressively.
Yeah,
and she's like, I felt very sexually harassed, and they actually had a lawsuit against the people doing the pat downs.
It's like, fucking take me to dinner first, crying out loud. I'm telling you,
it's like, I'm a 90-year-old woman in a wheelchair. What the fuck do you think I'm gonna do?
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly right. Yeah, so I did want to bring up the comment that I postponed from Mark's story. He said, I was also disgusted when I heard about thousands of Palestinians pouring into the streets in Gaza and the West Bank, cheering and celebrating the attack. Yeah, and then like I said, there's that article. You can, click on that link at the top if you want to watch it. Actual footage. Can't be denied. It fucking happened. These are the same ones that are protesting on our university streets and whatnot and shutting down the.
No, some of them, but I think some of them are just ignorant American kids that have no idea what they're talking about, especially in regards to this subject.
Absolutely, absolutely true. Didn't really take historical notice of it until we reintroduced the stories to them in the modern era. Yeah, absolutely. This is why I do this, so that you can make the connections. All right, got to head off to bed. Yeah, I understand, Mananui. Thanks for. Why is the rum always gone?
Do you have a Coors in there?
Alexa, add Kraken to the shopping list.
Kraken added.
Thank you.
Hopefully my donation helps with that. Anyway.
It will, absolutely. And Real Walden Gaming Clips was 8 years old at the time. If I feel like I'm missing something, buddy. Am I missing part of your message? But
he was 8 when it happened, maybe.
Yeah. No, I get that. I mean, it kind of gives you, because. Can I get another Dr. Pepper, please? Never. Okay, no, it's whatever, dude. I super appreciate you. That's 8 years old. And see, it's funny because was it you, Boomer, or somebody was recently sharing about the Challenger explosion and how in grade school, those of us,
I remember when that happened too. Yeah.
And they saw it in school because a lot of kids were watching that launch, right? Because there was a school teacher on, so all the kids and all the teachers were all fired up about that. And it was like, oh, crap, she dead. What a lot of people don't know is that, oh gosh, I'm drawing a blank on the bloke that played Big Bird, the guy inside the suit.
Stevie
Lindy or something like that. He was actually supposed to be on that flight because they wanted to send Big Bird up into space, and there was a couple of logistic reasons that kept him from being able to do it, and NASA was like,
what was that? Spivey. Something Spivey.
I don't know. Somebody in the chat's going to get it real quick. Yeah, that would have been a PR nightmare that NASA killed Big Bird. You know, that would have been just like, don't even know. To answer your question, I wasn't born yet. Yes, you are younger. I get that. That's
there's
fine.
a young
What a
in
sweetie.
there.
Yeah. So that means you are less than 23 years old. You're just a youngin', aren't you? Maybe we can adopt you. There we go. Carol Spinney. I knew I was onto something. Yes, Carol Spinney was his name. I know he see, I used to really be into puppetry, and I was very interested in all that kind of stuff. The Jim Henson and Frank Oz and all the behind the scenes and whatnot. And when you know how that Big Bird was done, he had his hand up in the air and he was controlling the mouth with his hand, and he'd have to literally walk around with his arm up all the time, and his shoulder would start to hurt.
And he had a screen inside Big Bird's uniform,
so he could see where he was going.
Yeah.
But
yeah, because of that, he ended up with some horrible medical problems because of having to contort himself to be Big Bird.
Exactly. And salute. So that means you are old enough to drink. There you go. You don't have to drink, but you legally can. Do I think it was an inside job? So we were kind of touching on this a little bit earlier, Real Walden gaming clips. I want to, and everyone, please make sure you're subscribed to not only Real Walden, Walden Nation. I got it wrong again. Real Walden Nation Gaming Clips. Please make sure you're subscribed to him, to Charlotte Nightstar, the Werewolf, Sir Torin, Connie Cleary, everybody. Make sure you're subscribed to everybody's channel, including, you know, these people on the panel here. I wouldn't. Depends on what you mean by an inside job.
He's saying if the U.S. government planned it, which was no. I don't think you believe that.
See, I don't believe. I believe in false flag events. I believe that the deep state operatives can be complicit in events like this, but not like they take an active role. I think that this is where I think conspiracy theorists go wrong. They get the kernel of the truth, and then they go to ridiculous extremes on their assumptions, which can easily be discredited, and then they look foolish.
We do know that they had warnings about bin Laden. In fact, one man kept in fact, unfortunately, he got killed in the Pentagon the day it happened. But he was one of the big alarmists on him where he was being ignored. Mm-hmm. Now, I often, my other explanation was incompetence, but that's my own thing. But, you know, but you were saying, yeah.
Okay. The strip of what Real Wade Nation Games was saying is on mine. So it is. Okay. I was 8, Troy. If you want. Never mind. I typed and hit send. I don't remember it much. I'm not denying it happened. Do you think it was an inside job? Troy, I see it all over the internet.
Now I'm getting all the context. Yeah. She said no.
Just say Wade, like basketball player.
Yeah.
So just call him Wade.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
So that's the whole stream. It's like a couple of words enter,
And Charlotte, okay, I'm sorry. This is I'll get back to you, Walden, just a second. I'm going to go off on a little tangent here because, well, Wade, yeah, exactly. I'm going to go off on a little tangent here because it's my channel and I can. Charlotte, your birthday is in January. When in January? Are you a Capricorn?
If it's in January, probably.
Yeah, they don't always line up exactly with the months. So,
well, if she's after, I think it's like the 15th of the month. You're right. She could be whatever the next one is.
So here's the thing, and maybe I'll do a stream one day about the whole idea about false flags. I don't.
Charlotte, what day?
I don't feel that you know. So, like I said, they take it to the extreme. They come up with theories that are easily debunked, and then it makes their whole argument look foolish. Let me give you an example that's completely unrelated to 9/11. Mostly unrelated to 9/11. Everyone got bent out of shape back in 2020 talking about the vote counting machines. They're corrupt. They're bogus, and this is how they're stealing the election. Doesn't work. The logic doesn't work. They were only used in certain states. They were only used in certain counties, and when you do the maths, they didn't have enough impact on the election to have any impact. And because you're focusing so much on that, it's real easy to debunk and say, okay, you guys are conspiracy theorists. There's nothing to this. When there actually could be, it just has nothing to do with the voting machines.
Voting machines, right. I see what
Look,
you're saying.
we have a system in place. Just like with immigration, right? We have laws in place. If you enforce them, it takes care of the problem. If you don't enforce them, you have a problem. Same thing with election. We have laws by which we can contest an election, we can demand a recount, and we can say we want signature verification. But if the states, the local municipalities, and the courts say, nah, well, then you're fucked. Then that's how you steal an election. And then you have no proof. And if you decide just contesting an election is an insurrection, well, then you don't have free elections anymore. You may as well just appoint whoever the fuck you want. And this is a Stasi fascist dictatorship.
Anyway.
By the same token, if you're focusing on there were bombs set up inside the buildings, and because the building can't fall this way, and the heat isn't hot enough but that's bullshit. Okay, the fact is somebody flew planes into the buildings, people died. Okay, focus on that. Focus on the fact that these people were known terrorists and they were purposely ignored. Focus on that. Don't go looking for bombs in the buildings and why did building 7 collapse too, and get all, and oh, look, the shape of the cloud makes the devil. You're insane, okay? And easily debunked, and that kind of ruins the whole argument, right? It's always simpler than you really think it is, I'm sorry, Boomer. Go ahead. I'm going to try to catch up on the comments while you're.
I don't know. FKHC has some comments.
Okay, I'm getting there. Capricorn. Oh, the 13th. So you were born almost a week after I was. There you go. My birthday's on the 8th. I share a birthday with Elvis Presley, with David Bowie, with Shirley Bassey, and with Stephen Hawking. Oh yeah, Netter was actually already saying that.
Yeah.
Yes, and demonetized. Yeah, very possibly.
Well,
I would not be surprised if this stream is not hit and taken down or whatever, which is why it's being backed up on the Green Machine. So make sure you are following me on the Green Machine in case anything happens to this channel. And that's why your support is so important. If it was an inside job, there would have been a lot of people in the office now. Sorry, Tim, I'm having problems following you. You explaining what my question was meant about, okay. Yeah, he's on his cell phone. I understand. Especially, okay. I know this happens to Nate a lot too. You're using like the voice recognition and stuff, and it.
Tim is saying, if it was an inside job, there would have been a lot of people in the know. And in the know, I'm on my cell phone, so I'm dealing with.
Gotcha. Okay. So let me extrapolate, or let me elaborate on what Tim is saying. This is the problem with conspiracies, right? When you have large numbers of people involved, things tend to leak out. What was it that Franklin said? If 3 people know something, the only way you keep it a secret is if 2 of them are dead. I'm paraphrasing, but it's something like that. The more people that know, the more likely it is that it gets out. We see that happening now in government. We see it happening at Disney. We see it happening other companies where people are going, this is bullshit, and I'm going to let people know. And people are whistleblowing on stuff, you know. Yes, David Bowie too, exactly. Yeah, Elvis's birthday, so cool. So you mean like the Denver airport rumor? Yeah, exactly. I think there's a lot of conspiracy theories that people want to believe because they sound cool, you know, and that's fine. That's great for fiction, right? You know, but if you're going to make accusations, you got to be able to prove stuff, and this really outlandish stuff does not help your argument. You know, we had somebody on a previous stream when we weren't even talking about 9/11 who decided to bring up 9/11 and was accusing countries that are diametrically opposed to the people that we know were responsible for it. It's like, that makes no fucking sense. Unless all you're trying to do is demonize a certain group of people because you don't like them. And all that tells me is you're a racist and, you know, shut the hell up, you know, just saying. But, yeah. Same thing with the the moon landing being fake. Yeah. I think the easiest way to debunk that whole conspiracy theory is the space race was a public kind of a public war between Russia and the U.S. It was for bragging rights. So if and the fact is that the Russians beat us to most of the milestones in the space race. Yeah, they got the first person in space. They got the first object in space. They got the first woman in space. All of the first were the Russians. We were the first ones to get to the moon. And, oh, by the way, Russians also the first ones to get a probe to Mars. People forget that one. So if the lunar landing was a fake, the Russians would have blown it out of the water. And they'd have said, yeah, no. Here's the proof. We know it, blah, 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 and this and that. And, you know, so, yeah. It's a great story, but it's like, why? You know? Speaking of, go see Am I Racist? Yeah, I've heard about that.
The Matt Walsh documentary.
Yes. It's just weird that it's all over the place talking about 9/11. Okay, so no, it's not when you also consider you want to get into conspiracy theories. The easiest way for the deep state to confuse it, you know, it's the whole thing about aliens, right? Every time something comes up, alien sightings, right? You know, oh no, it's a weather balloon, it's a this and that. Look, most of these alien sightings that people get all excited about and start conspiracy theories about, it's bullshit stories put out by the CIA themselves because it allows them to manipulate dumb people that are easily led. You've got to weed your way through all of that stuff. Absolutely. And all of this 9/11 stuff, look, you see it, you can see it happening in real time with the dumbasses that you're arguing with on social media, right? That come in and they shout all kinds of shit at you and call you all kinds of istophobic names. Yes, they could be true believers, but we know that there's a lot of deep state actors who spend their time online first writing down your name, writing down your IP address, and keeping an eye on you. And then they goad you. They goad you until they find somebody that maybe this guy would be interested in showing up at a particular event.
Anyway, yes, let's not go there.
And maybe we can get other people together to help him out with that. We won't do it ourselves, but we'll encourage them to do things.
Well,
that's how a false flag really works. So why do people think the moon was faked to the point there's a movie? Yeah, because it's a good story, right? Because it's a great legend, right? Why do people keep telling stories about Superman, right? It's fiction. We know it's fiction, but it's a great story that we all love, and we have a lot invested in it, right? This whole idea that Stanley Kubrick, because of 2010, and he hides all these secrets in his other movies to let you know that's what he did. Bullshit. If anyone who knows anything about Stanley Kubrick, if he had faked the moon landing, he'd have fucking told everybody. Before he died, he would have said to everybody, yep, I did it. We never went to the moon. It was a bunch of bullshit. I want all the credit. This is where Occam's razor comes in. The simplest answer is the easiest one. We went to the moon. We went to the moon. And we've never been back because we aren't actually trying to prove anything to the Russians anymore. We had the wrong motivations for going to the moon, but we fucking did it because somebody got it into their head. We had to do it. Most alien stories are BS except Heaven's Gate. The people who run the website said so. The people that run the website are all dead, and the website just continues on. That's true. The Heaven's Gate website is still up. Conspiracy theory that I thought was only good in fiction is the Illuminati, a secret society that runs the world. If a group of people had that kind of power, they would be killing each other. I think there's some truth to it. Whether or not it's actually a group called the Illuminati or not, I'll put that one aside. But I do believe that there are. Look, you look at the what is the World Economic Forum? You look at NATO. You look at the UN. There's definitely people that Bohemian Grove, all that kind of bullshit. Look, when people get enough power, they start working with other people that got power, and they start ensuring that their power is maintained. You see it happen throughout history all the time. It really, really does happen. So to say that it absolutely doesn't happen now is foolish. But I do think, again, the most bizarre out there theories are just stories that people put out there, to discredit the people that might otherwise stumble upon the truth. My favorite take on the fake lunar landing is the Y files. The Y files are great because they play both sides of the fence, right? Because you got what's his name? AJ, who's the host, saying, it's not, we went to the moon. And of course, you got the fictional fish going, you're a sheep. You believe that we went to the moon, and it's so they play both sides of the fence on that show. And I love it. It's a great little shtick that they got there. Netter is of the opinion that Hecklefish, the mouth of Hecklefish is actually AJ.
I'm sure it is.
If
you look at the teeth and you look at the tongue, it's AJ's.
Could be. I don't know. I think it's really Hecklefish, a real talking fish with teeth.
Well, it's not Gertie's mouth.
It's not Gertie's, yes. We haven't even heard Gertie speak. Can Gertie speak?
Gertie is a camel.
And camels like to dance when the feeling's right,
Yes.
I'm sorry, I've gotten behind on the chats again. When people talk about the CIA and being bad, maybe a lot of higher ups, maybe, but not the average agent. Again, you got to understand the psychology of the power dynamic, right? You know, that's like saying, well, you know, the bad people in the 30s in Germany, that was just the people in charge. But the average police officer follows orders, and then they will show up at trial when they're brought up at The Hague, and they say, I was just following orders. It happens. Look, what was the university, the prison study where they gave randomly, you know, they put some people as prisoners, some people as prison guards, and things got completely out of hand. It's just the power dynamic. You give people power. What is it? Power corrupts, and absolute power corrupts absolutely. You wanna believe the best of people, but the fact is, history bears out the worst about people.
Well, we'll see if we ever know what really goes on historically.
Yeah, so Samuel Proctor's making an interesting point here. The idea of people making it to the moon is still a huge thing to wrap one's head around.
Oh my goodness.
Two, we're a whole lot more pessimistic about our achievements as Americans. Look, I get you, but it gets harder and harder to buy the we didn't go to the moon thing, because we've been back to the moon and we've had so many people go into space. There's too many people that have been involved and seen. Again, the more people you get involved, the harder it is to maintain a secret or a lie. You know, somebody would have come out, and said, yeah, Sally Ride, for example, would have come back and said, you know what? It was all bullshit. They put me in, it was all computer screens. You know, it was all a big show. I never got to be weightless or whatever. You know, yeah. But don't forget the Freemasons. Yeah, the Freemasons. Yeah, you know what the Freemasons are? They're a bunch of people that know how to lay bricks. The Roman Empire ruled the world, and why did Rome fall? They weren't overthrown. They destroyed themselves with political backstabbing. Et tu, Brute? Absolutely. I'm making a joke there. I know it's more than just that. Yes, the Stanford prison experiment. Thank you, Tim. Thank you. I knew you guys would know. You guys know what I'm talking about. You guys are above average when it comes to chats. I got good, intelligent people in my chat. I appreciate that. But yeah. So I think we've debunked the biggest conspiracy theories. We've speculated about potential false flags that we'll never be able to prove, but there's also the Maine, and there's the so many other potential false flags and throughout history, just saying. But earlier this year, India sent a probe to the moon and show pictures of American astronauts' footprints, and the flag is still there. Yeah. Why would they maintain the lie? I mean, it gets so insane, and the reason that people keep bringing up flat earthers, right? Because the whole concept of the flat Earth really encompasses all of the worst attributes of the most insane conspiracy theorists, the most easily disproven. You have to actively make up bullshit in your head in order to, and the effective equivalent of putting your fingers in your ears and going, la, 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 I am not listening,
Okay.
to continue to believe, that the world is flat, What about the fish people from Venus? I think that's just misattribution. I think that's just the Silurians that evolved here on Earth. They're not really from Venus. Roman Republic fell through, political backstabbing. Empire died through barbarians at the gate. Well, partly, but it wasn't that simple, but that was a huge part of it. And I think there's a lot of people that do draw correlations to the fall of Rome and the fall of the events they're leading to the fall of the United States. If we don't learn from our history, we will repeat it. But it wasn't just Rome. Almost every empire, hell, even the USSR basically fell that way too. They're starting to get their crap together, and they're starting to redirect. but yeah. Flat earthers. These morons are so annoying. Yeah, they really, really are. Because does it really matter to your average person whether the world is flat or round? They have so much invested in that belief, it's like a religion to them. And they will convert you, and they want to prove it to you. Because what is the whole purpose of it? Not the truth, but to make you believe that they are more intelligent than you are. That's the bottom line of most conspiracy theories. That is the allure. That is what makes a conspiracy theory sexy, is I know something secret that you don't know, and I want you to acknowledge that I know that secret information. You know? And this is why when I make a prediction and I'm right, and someone comes to me and goes, yep, Troy, he's always right. I don't take all kinds of credit and act like I'm a smart guy or whatever. I just know history. And when you know history, you know what's going to happen. And I'm usually right about things I do not want to be right about. I want to be wrong about most of the assertions I make. I really, really do.
Well, yeah. So back to 9/11.
We'll get to that as we wrap up tonight, Tim, because I will be making that announcement about new show starting on Tuesday.
Gotcha.
Nights.
And that reminds me, because you peeps are here in the audience right now, and I know most of y'all are on our different streams.
Mm-hmm.
One of you made a suggestion for a double feature for Troy. Neither of us had the mindset to write it down at the time.
Yeah, it could have been Samuel Proctor. It could have been any one of you guys. You had a great idea for a double feature.
And we don't know if it was done on Big L's stream on my Thursday Things last week, not this one that just passed, or on the last Friday night call.
Could have been at any time, and I just don't remember what it was. It was a really good one, and we didn't write it down.
It was Benji and Cujo.
Actually,
that is kind of funny. That might be worth remembering.
Okay, I'm going to write that.
Netter's going to start writing down every time someone suggests a double feature in case I want to.
Whoever it was that was giving suggestions and even like DM me on Twitter and say, hey, yeah, I suggested such and such. So it was within the last week and a half that somebody had suggested this, and Troy thought it was brilliant. So, but for whatever reason, we didn't write down. So please let us know your suggestions. So you can DM me on Twitter, and I'll just do a running list. So he's got all these different movies coming up.
Gorilla Random Thoughts, welcome, my friend, says, hey, where was I? I was in 4th grade in class, and they sent us home from school at noon, and I got home, and I was wondering why my dad was home so early. Now, years later, I figured out. Because, makes perfect sense. A lot of companies closed and said, just go be with your families. Even though there was no concern about, the safety of the people at those particular locations. Good news, I just started reading the Silmarillion. Bad news, it's because my dad just started watching Rings of Power. Yeah, you were sharing that somewhere else.
Rings of Power is not an adaptation of the Silmarillion.
Whatever
you call it.
It's from the
appendices. No, it's from the appendices in Lord of the Rings. They didn't have the rights to the other thing. That's why when I heard that, I'm like, this is going to be fan fiction. I didn't even want to cover it. I barely covered it on Geeky Geezer since then, because what's the point? It's just, I knew it was going to be awful as soon as I heard that.
Yeah, no, I remember, Samuel, you did recommend Troy, but we did watch that one. That was one of the first ones we watched.
I watch Troy every day.
Yeah, pity her. You should definitely pity her for that. Was it Deep Throat and Debbie Does Dallas? Yes, I have seen both of those movies.
Yeah, you're not doing a double feature on those. I don't want to see them.
They don't. They don't hold up very well. I've only watched 2 episodes of Rings of Power. That's too many, my friend. I don't believe it was me. That's okay. Let's see. You had recommended Mulholland Drive. We will definitely be doing that on a Tuesday
Mulholland
night.
Falls.
Oh, Mulholland Falls. That's entirely different. Yeah,
That'd be a good. Well, it's more depressing than LA Confidential,
Yeah.
but it's kind of in the same vein. It's another 1950s.
Thank you so much,
detective movie.
Disney Sheepherder, stopping by and hitting that like button for us. Yeah, the appendices.
You get to see a bit of Jennifer Connelly in Mulholland Falls, actually. So anyway,
that one down. I just like watching her ride the mechanical horse.
Yeah, they're in what was the name of that movie? It was in Career Opportunities. That was the name of that movie.
Yeah. There you go. There you go.
Classic.
I think we should watch the James Earl Jones movie too. Yeah. We'll probably second. Wasn't he in Secondhand Lions? I think that's one we really need to do sometime real soon. Absolutely. I don't. Although I've had a lot of people suggesting that we do Conan. I'm like, we've done that before.
Do a different one, but Conan. Plus, we're going to talk about that in Geeky Geezers anyway.
We will. We absolutely will.
There's Field of Dreams. He was in that.
Right, Field of Dreams.
Costner. Yeah,
that would be the other one.
Yeah,
I think if I had a choice, it'd be Field of Dreams.
Yeah.
And like I said, I think it was Secondhand Lions.
Is Ray Liotta in Field of Dreams, if memory serves?
Yes. He plays. Drawing a blank. Shoeless Joe something or other.
Yes.
Of the Chicago.
Shoeless Joe Jackson.
Yes, thank you. Seeing that or knows.
And I don't even follow sports ball.
Well, yeah, but he's on your Cubs, so or was, so that's why you like him. Oh no, I'm sorry. He was one of the Black Sox, wasn't he?
Yeah, I don't know.
I got it backwards. One of the world's greatest tragedies. Nick Nolte. Yeah, he's a piece of work. I tell you.
Did you see he was in what was it? Was it Angel Has Fallen, which was the third of the Fallen movies? Remember Olympus Has Fallen, London Has Fallen, Angel Has Fallen, and he's Gerard Butler's dad in that. And his voice, if you thought it was gravelly before, that he's older. In fact,
every movie I've ever seen Nick Nolte in, I always realize he's a nutburger. He was in
Hulk.
Wasn't he in?
He was in Ang Lee's Hulk. Remember?
Yes.
With Eric
he was.
Bana,
He was also in, I believe, a Silver Bullet. Do you remember that one? The werewolf movie.
If he was in that. I don't remember.
Pretty sure he's a nutburger. I mean, I don't mean that in a bad way. I mean, because I don't have anything against him, and I like his movies fine enough, but
48 Hours with Eddie Murphy, remember that?
Yeah, that's probably one of his best that I remember.
In fact, he was dating in that movie. He's going out with Annette O'Toole. Remember?
Oh,
That's his girlfriend in that. Yeah,
Annette O'Toole. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Field of Dreams and Coming to America. That's another good one. Yeah. Silver Bullet was Gary Busey. Well, he's a wackadoo too. They're cut from the same cloth, I think. Yeah. Reagan movie. Oh yeah, I'll have to do Bedtime for Bonzo. Oh, and Newt Rockney All American. Oh, that's a good one.
Okay, these are the ones that were suggested.
Yeah, none of these are the ones that we were
I just realized what Matt Walsh should do for his next movie if he does one.
What's that?
Well, if it's all about people coming from other countries and over our country illegally, he should try going to one of their countries they're coming from and go there illegally and see what happens.
Yeah, well,
in a documentary.
How he Walsh was intelligent enough not to do that.
It wouldn't be pretty, would it?
He might recommend someone else go. Someone who might be, a little confused. Hey, you
can go to Haiti if they're coming here, right? That's sort of
the Daily Wire will pay for you to go to the country and see how long you last with your opinions. For October, Plan 9 from Outer Space and maybe one other film. Yeah,
you could do Ed Wood and Plan 9 from Outer Space.
I got to talk to Big Al because I don't want to do that without him. So
if you do a double feature Ed Wood and Plan 9, it would be like the making of and then the movie.
Hell, I would want
Ed Wood movie.
You know what? If I did Plan 9 and Ed Wood, I want both Big Al and Evelyn Hampton for that. And I'll do that on a Saturday. I'll do it on a Monday. I'll do it whenever. because those two go really, really well together. I have a recommendation for October. Oh no, double feature: Howl and Dog Soldiers, two of the best werewolf movies ever made, and
Interesting.
I have them on DVD.
Oh, good for
I
you.
do already have those two. Yes. Another one that and Evelyn heard me. Her ears are itching, and she's like, "Yep, absolutely." I might also want to do. Who knows? Maybe I'll start another stream night to start doing horror films, because there's a lot of good werewolf movies worth doing. I want to do the Howling series. There was a whole series of these films. It is hilarious how Walsh manages to get interviews from these huge radicals and influential race hustlers in the movie. It's a running joke. Yeah, he kind of does the same kind of guerrilla filming like Sacha Baron Cohen, right? When he did the Borat movies, right? People don't know that he's effing with them, but it kind of makes his point, right? Because these people are dumb enough not to get what he's doing. Underrated, A Family Thing with James Earl Jones. Robert Duvall is in it too. Okay, so maybe that's the one that I was thinking of, and I confused it with Secondhand Lions. That could be it. Where were you again, Tim? A Family Thing. A Family Thing with James Earl Jones. Okay, thank you.
Is that another one?
Yes.
What's the double feature with that?
That one would probably be Field of Dreams. And Charlotte's got a split. Love, peace, and happy weekend. I'm on live tomorrow on YouTube watching Blue Velvet with open panel. Yeah. What time is that? I might be able to make it depending on what I'm doing. I gotta do weekend things on Saturday, but I'll definitely be there Sunday for your second half of that. The Beast of Bray Road, werewolf movie set in Wisconsin, supposedly based on true events. Hell, I'll have to look into that just to watch it myself. Sounds like the kind of thing that's probably available on Tubi too. The Beast of Bray Road. Okay. Hell, I may even have that on DVD somewhere. I don't know. And what up, Troy and company? Yeah, we are just winding down Joe's Atmosphere, but always awesome to see you here, my friend. You are good people. Make sure you're subscribed to Joe's Atmosphere. He's got a great channel. The running joke has an even funnier and extra part to it than even you already explained. You just have to watch it to see. Okay, there you go. And everyone's kind of checking out. So she wore blue velvet. Yeah, that's what Charlotte is doing this weekend, which eventually I'm sure we will also be watching on a Tuesday night on Live from Last Call. Boomer, was there any last thoughts that you wanted to make about 9/11 before we wrap
I just don't think we should forget it. And I feel I don't want to say we forgot it because I don't want to blame anyone in the chat or anyone in the nation, but I feel like publicly, I don't know, it feels like we've let it slip away, and there was a lot of loss that day, and it was a hard day for the country, and I feel we've gotten complacent. That's what I'm going to say, and I'm worried.
Yeah, and I think the biggest part is, it's real easy to, put up the memes and, say never forget and all this kind of stuff, and not take the time to dig into it, to understand what happened. That's a big deal, and to just go, oh, that was horrible, we'll never forget. Do you even understand it? what's to not forget? You need to learn about this. And it's very clear today that we have a whole generation of people that don't understand what's going on in the Middle East to even understand why some people flew planes into a building. Yes, it has a lot to do with their religion. You need to understand their religion.
All they know is that they're being inconvenienced at the airport and they don't know why.
And that's important too, because our civil liberties are literally being eroded away, and it's bringing us no security. So you need to pay attention to these things. You need to fight. You need to, don't go down rabbit holes of crazy conspiracy theories, but pay attention to things that don't add up. Right? Do your own research, engage the thinky bits, and understand what's going on. They don't understand that or any other history. And and there's a very clear failing on the part of our public education system. Maybe it's even more nefarious than that, because I think there's some people that have infiltrated our education system, literally trying to rewrite history, to teach a false history. And that is the big problem. But what is not a big problem is that we got some great streams coming up later tonight, depending on where you're at on the Dateline, or tomorrow, starting with, as I mentioned, Charlotte is going to be hosting a Blue Velvet watch party. Make sure you are subscribed to her channel. You should be. I've mentioned it every time I see her on. I say, make sure you're subscribed to Charlotte. And then later in the evening on Netters Network, we will be watching the Tim Chalamet Dune Part 1 with special guest something human Thade.
Hello, humans.
Hello,
Thade.
humans Thade. Yes, will be our special guest tomorrow night. That's on Netters Network. Her link, of course, is down below. Make sure you're subscribed and hit that notification bell. Boomer is right. By 9/11 falling in an election year, it became politically inconvenient to remember, but we are not politicians. Or
did anyone mention it during the debate? I don't think it was even mentioned by anyone.
Absolutely not. And this is why I made the connection to the whole Gaza situation now. It is directly effing connected. Yes. All of these protests that are happening in universities and the violence against certain people, this is directly related to the events of 9/11. And those events are related to other things going on the other side of the world that have been happening for hundreds and thousands of years. Understand your history. Understand how these things are all connected, because you cannot find a solution if you don't know what's causing the problem.
Right.
If you don't know who the problem is. If you just jump on the current thing, I support the current thing, you are supporting the wrong people, because you're an ignorant moron is why.
Makes me nostalgic for us. There's plenty of things I didn't like about the aughts, especially with, certain compliances we had to do during that decade. But compared to now, I don't know. It's just awful.
So Retro Cinema on Netters Network on Saturday. Sunday is the big deleted scenes day. So it's 3 Central, 4 Eastern is Western Cinema Presents. Him and Outlaw Bill on their respective channels will be simulcasting Western Cinema Presents. I don't know what the movie is, but I'm sure that someone will drop the link or at least let us know what the movie is. And then Unscripted comes up at 7 Central, 8 Eastern, where, sometimes he gets a little political, sometimes he gets a little spicy, but I don't think he decides until the very last minute what he's going to be talking about there. And then, thank you so much, Lady Miss is already dropping Charlotte. You are wonderful. And so is Curtis. Thank you, guys. You Blue Wrenches are just so awesome. Their links, of course, are also listed. All the Blue Wrenches I have down in my in my every stream description as well. So make sure you're following them, their channels, and keep in touch. Let's stay a family, right? And then 8 Central, 9 Eastern. We got you and I got something going on
Geeky
Sundays.
Geezers.
What are we going to be talking about?
The PlayStation 5 Pro.
Yeah, let's spend $500-600 for something that's marginally better than what I already got.
It's $700 anyway. Let's move on.
Well, that's $500
without a disk drive too.
Exactly,
So
exactly right. You got to,
because of course all digital is now a feature.
You got to spend extra money to get the little stand that holds it upright. You know that?
With it without the. I'll get into that on Sunday.
I think it's like $30 for that thing.
We'll say goodbye to James Earl Jones. We'll have a couple other things going on too. There's some Iger stuff actually that came out. Maybe New York Times. I think you sent me last week. Can we talk a little bit about that?
The mainstream media has turned on Disney. They've every now and again been a little critical. Now they're coming out hard. They are coming out hardline against Bob Iger. This is going to be an interesting year for we're looking at 3/4 of a year that are going to be very interesting for Disney. And I know what Mark Melnikoff is thinking. Defund Disney, defund Disney. We don't have to. They are doing it themselves. So that's Geeky Geezers on Sunday at 8 Central, 9 Eastern. After that, stay with us. We will auto-dramatically send you over to Deleted Scenes channel for The Other Side of Midnight. So you can wind out your weekend with some final thoughts on the weekend from Deleted Scenes and his very, very good-looking panel. I say that because I'm usually there, but they also have Sin's Corner very often. So
there you go.
And that leads us into Monday. Monday night at the movies. We're not doing a double feature this week. I'm gonna just do the one movie. It's gonna be L.A. Confidential.
It's a good one. Great score too.
It is.
Soundtrack, score and soundtrack. They're great songs in it too. Yeah.
Oh yeah. But I haven't actually seen the movie.
What?
I only know the one line. The quote from Danny DeVito. Right. Off the record, on the QT, and very hush hush.
It was interesting. That had come out earlier in the fall and didn't do so hot at the box office. But then it got a second win when it got the Oscar nomination. And then it did well in theaters when Warner Brothers re-released it. And I remember seeing it on the re-release as a budding little film student. I was in an intro to film class. And it was a crowded theater. We were all packed in there. It was a big theater, but everyone was in there. And I was like sitting between two people. But we were all quiet. We enjoyed the film. It was a great hard-boiled cop noir type film. Great way to do a period piece of the 50s too.
Yes.
Look at how they do period in that movie.
This is
not through the lens of nostalgia because they tried to make it look as modern as they could while still having it set in the 50s.
Yes.
It's
and it is based on true events, and you definitely get that noir feel. You get
it's just an excellent movie.
Kim Basinger,
lovely.
Yeah. And Deleted Scenes is kind of freaking out. He goes, "What?" Deleted Scenes will be my guest and subject matter expert. I told you I needed somebody to. But I've been looking forward to this. Part of the Monday night films is not only for me to share beloved films that I think you guys will enjoy, that I think you guys really ought to see, and allow me to rewatch them again, but sometimes movies that have been on my list for far too long that I need to see and haven't yet. But we're just doing the one, and we're going to start at 8:00. So I can get wrapped up a little bit early so that we can get into Tuesday night. Tuesday night will be starting something new. So we will continue with the whole live from Sparkwood 21. We'll be watching episode, I think, 12 of Twin Peaks: The Return, and then doing commentary. And then almost immediately after, I'm planning for 10 o'clock Central, 11 o'clock Eastern. I'm going to start a new watch party, Blake 7, starting with the first episode, The Way Back. And if you've never seen Blake 7, absolutely join us from the beginning. I'll talk you through it. I'll try not to spoil an ending for a 40-year-old sci-fi, British sci-fi series.
It's awesome.
It really is good. It is.
And then after you finish doing that one, you got to do Red Dwarf.
If I do Red Dwarf, we could be going for years. But yeah, maybe. But Blake 7. For those of you that have loved Firefly, right? Serenity, the Joss Whedon sci-fi series. A lot of it was inspired by Blake 7. A lot of even the lines taken directly from Blake 7 were used in scenes in Firefly. We'll talk about that. So that is starting on my channel on Tuesdays, starting at 10 Central, or maybe later if Live from Sparkwood and 21 runs over. So, and that'll be every week going forward. Thursday, what's going on Thursday, Netter? Thursday,
I'm going to have a very special guest. This guy is everywhere. I don't think he sleeps. I'm seriously thinking he might be like a cyborg or something, or an android or something like that, because he never sleeps. I think y'all know him. You've seen him around. His name is Deleted Scenes. Do you know that guy? Yeah.
Really looks like that.
It's like he's got so many different streams, so many interesting things going on. Between the Western cinema and all the other different things going on. Like I said, the guy never sleeps. There's just so many different things going on. My absolute favorite, of course, is Sparkwood 21 on Tuesdays, because there's this rather pretty girl that's on there, and
who was once wrapped in plastic, but she got better.
Yes, I do have a picture of me wrapped in plastic, with the blonde hair too.
Yep.
So yes, we will have Deleted Scenes on Thursday. Things as a returning guest.
Yep. And so that's Thursday. That brings us around to next Friday.
Oh no, we're doing. It's gonna be a fun stream. It's gonna. Well, they're all fun streams, but
yes,
it's gonna be one. That's gonna be about if we were to remake, what movies we would remake if we could remake anything.
Absolutely. So we beat up on the whole concept of remakes and reboots and stuff, but there really are some movies that, even though they were good and beloved, we acknowledge they could do better. They could, I'll give you for instance, I don't know if we'll actually get to it next week, but one of my thoughts is I'd like to see a remake of Logan's Run. I would love it if they could get past the modern sensibilities and, give us the Jenny Agutter treatment for the movie. That's something that you need to keep alive, but I don't see them doing it. They'll go for the PG-13. Interestingly, Logan's Run probably was PG back when it was first released. I don't know. You can look that up on IMDb. But if it was to be released today, it would be an R rating for nudity. I kid you not. This is how the sensibilities have changed. But Jenny Agutters, I think her breasts were afraid of the dark. So yes, we'll be talking about remakes in a positive way. We're not going to talk about a bunch of. We've all talked about the horrible remakes that never should have happened. I'm looking at you, The Crow. Just saying. But
yeah, because I figured it would be timely with that whole. Frankly, we'd be getting a lot of bad remakes and reboots. But if we were going to do it, well, we'd do it. Yeah.
I'm literally on stream, and Boomer's sending me notes for DVDs.
No, it's just that New York Times is behind all this crap. If you could just send me, send me a bit of.
No worries, I'll get it. If
it's not any trouble.
Regular time before we go live tomorrow, I'll get that to you. No worries.
Logan's run was PG. Yep.
They would make it a PG-13, but you wouldn't see the nudity. I don't think they do nudity in PG-13. Soon as you see a little nip slip, then it's an R.
There it is.
Whereas PG, remember the movie Airplane? Girl runs across, woo, and your boobs are right in your face for a brief second, but they're very, very clear. Very, very clear.
So cool.
And I watched that and I'm like, I feel like there's a joke here. I don't get it, but boy, I'm loving the view. Okay. And that brings us that gets us all caught up for the week. Anything that you think I might have missed there, Agent Boomer?
No, I think we covered it. Just don't forget, and hopefully we'll do a better job remembering 9/11 next year.
I did have 2 rum and cokes tonight. I polished off what was left of my Kraken.
Oh my goodness!
Barely got a buzz. I tried, okay. But it was a more subdued night because the topic was pretty heavy. Yes. Guys, this stream may not be up tomorrow, depending on what the YT overlords decide. But over on the Green Machine, it'll still be there. So make sure you're subscribed to me on the Green Machine. I can't post that here, but if you're following me on X, I've got it on my X profile, and I share it out every now and again. There may very well be some Friday night that this channel will no longer be here, but all of my content will still be on the Green Machine, and I will still be going live every Friday over there. Just saying. That's all I got. And Boomer, any last thoughts, last words before Netter takes us out? She's going to take us all out.
No. Have a good night, everyone. We'll see you next time.
Absolutely. All right, Netter. Last thoughts and take us out.
Do I have any thoughts? It's the weekend. Enjoy.
I was going to say it's late, so you may not have many thoughts left, but
those not as late as it usually is for you.
That's true.
Yeah,
that's true.
Of course, I always say make sure you are subbed to every member of the panel as well as every member of the chat. And if you think you're subbed, go back and double check you're still subbed because YouTube.
Yes.
And also remember to keep in mind that every time you sub to somebody, you give a thumbs up, you drop a comment on our vids, it doesn't cost you anything, but it means so much to us.
Yeah.
The results are immeasurable to those getting that sub, that comment, that thumbs. It really does mean a lot to us. And for those of us trying to grow our channels, it really does make a difference for us because YouTube sees that activity and they're like, oh, this person is being, commented on by a lot of people, or they're getting a lot of thumbs up, they're getting a lot of subscribers, and then they start highlighting us occasionally so that, more people can see us and our channels can grow even more because our channels aren't for us. They're for you. And that support is so needed from all of you out there. I said a sub costs you nothing, but it's immeasurable to us. So thank you for all of your support because you guys are amazing in Osmo. And with that said, we can talk amongst ourselves, and that's all well good and fun. Of course, we'd probably, be bored just listening to ourselves talk, but it's so much more fun because you guys are joining us in the chat and you're dropping your comments, questions, trivia, being goofy, whatever it may be. And it doesn't feel like we're separated by miles or continents in some cases. It feels like we're all hanging out in the same room, enjoying each other's company, having a great time. Pass that popcorn. And you guys, you're not just our friends. You are our family. And I'm not saying that just to say that. It's not something I'm just saying out of, it's like, I'm going to say they're family because that just sounds really, cute and cheesy. No, I mean it. You guys are our family.
We talk to you way more than we talk to our blood family.
Seriously, we do. It's like, I mean, how many times have we helped each other out with situations where you've needed prayers, money, whatever, sharing out things just to get a word out about something. We support each other. Family does that.
Yep.
You know, PJ Orville Nation always says, together we grow. And our family is growing by leaps and bounds. I appreciate every single one of you. You know, you can be anywhere. You can be off on somebody else's stream. For all I know, you got 10 tabs open and you're going back and forth between all the tabs.
Crazy bastards.
And, you know, but you're supporting us. And you guys are just totally Osmo in that way.
Yeah.
You know, we do appreciate you. We appreciate every way that you support us. Like I said, even if it is just that thumbs up or a quick comment, it's something to encourage us, and we appreciate that. You're encouraging each other in the chat with the hellos and you know, and all that.
Yep.
If one of you is missing, we become concerned. You know, we haven't seen Lady V Elements in a while. Finally found out she's just been really uber busy, and that's why she hasn't been around. It's like, but we're concerned. Her. Yeah, we totally miss her, because it's like she used to be here in every single stream, and now we're not seeing her.
Yeah.
And I think it was Curtis Selby told me she's just been really, really busy, so she hasn't had a chance to be, you know, visiting anyone's stream.
Yeah.
But we missed her, so we asked about her. And the same with any of you. If any of you were missing from our streams, we'd be like, where are they? Are they okay? Does anyone know? Because you're our family.
Yep.
And we are concerned about our family. We want to make sure that you're always with us. We want to support you the way you support us. And I know that we have streams coming up tomorrow. We've got a bunch of deleted scene stuff. We've got my Dune tomorrow night. And I really hope to see you in all those streams.
Yep.
Because I just like seeing your little faces. It makes me smile. But until that time, good night. God bless. And I hope you rest well. Because it is very late.
I want to thank all of you guys for all of your support, all the likes, all the comments, all the sharing out of the streams. That all helps immeasurably. But of course, I do want to give a special thanks to the people that literally financed tonight. You know, people like Scott Westbrook and Curtis Selby and this bastard over here. He's on the panel and he's dropping the coins. Don't forget, of course, all of the people that are members of the channel that are literally supporting on a monthly basis, like the Clue channel here. Don't forget, you've got that the free membership chat that highlights you, just to remind everybody how Osmo you guys really are. And speaking of the Osmo people that make this happen, watch the credits. Those are coming up right now to thank all of them. And I want to thank every single one of you. And look forward to seeing you on the next one. Take care, all of you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Good night, ladies.
Good night, sir.
Hit it, sweetheart.